Hello, now we're definitely into the final furlong here. We've created the content, be it images, text, animated stories, and we've created cover images, and we've formatted our content using manual processes and software alike, and we're now ready to upload to Kindle's publishing platform. I'm going to use as an example one of the books that I've featured during the course of this whole program, which is my What Your Dog Does When You're Not Looking book, and you've seen this before, and so you'll see just how I went about uploading this particular book when I did so. It must have been about 6 months ago, I suppose. Okay, so where we need to go is we need to head over to, and this is what we're after. This is what will be the final product once the book is uploaded. Let's say we've got some nice reviews, we've got a nice picture, and it's quite a nice sales page all in all. And using the processes I've described already, there was absolutely no problem with the book being accepted by the Kindle review program when you upload. Okay, so if you're brand new to this, we need to head over to kdp.amazon.com, and that'll be in the resources section. And if you come to this page, which is the Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP is the annotated version, Kindle Direct Publishing platform, and this is where all the action takes place, and this is where you actually upload your book. It's where you actually have a dashboard where you can look at your statistics, and there is a forum, and you can learn all sorts of things and communicate with other publishers, indie publishers, independent publishers. Okay, so now if you've not already signed up, you'll be given the option to sign up here, or you can log in using your Amazon password, login and password. If you've ever used Amazon and you've paid for anything on Amazon, for buying anything or even selling anything, you will have that already. So the process is very simple. It's free to join. And once you've logged in, you will come to a dashboard of which shows the main navigation of community, bookshelf, and reports. And the one we want to select is bookshelf, and there will be a link which says add a new title, and you click on that link and up will come a page like this, which is your application process. It's a 2-page application online submission form, very simple to fill in, and I'm going to run you through all the basic components, the areas you need to look at and the areas you need to avoid. It really doesn't take that long, and it's not as complex as it looks. And rather than just fill in blank, I'm actually going to visit the same submission page version of this that I use for my dog book. So hold on a second, I'll go over to that. Okay, this was the page I've first visited uploading that particular book. And there are 2 pages to get through, and they don't take too long. So the first box we have to look at is introducing KDP Select, and they ask you to enroll into a particular program called KDP Select. And this is a lending program. They allow you to join the lending program, which has certain benefits. Now, one of the benefits is that not only can your books be sold using via Kindle, books can also be lent, and for every book which is lent to the lending public, in fact the people that borrow the books are members of a program called Kindle Prime, which they pay a monthly fee for to Amazon. They are given the opportunity to borrow 1 book every month. There may be more, but at least they're given the ability to borrow books, and every time they borrow a book, that the author of that book gets a share of a pot of money which Amazon announce on a monthly basis, and it does basically equate to almost a sale. So you get the ability to lend books, and you get the ability to do promotions. I'll talk about a promotion a little bit later. KDP Select promotions, where you can put your books free and allow people to download your books for free. That may seem a little obtuse way of going about marketing, giving things away for free, but there is method in its madness, and we'll talk about that probably in the next video. And then finally you have the ability to avail yourself of all sorts of other marketing benefits which come by as a result of joining the KDP Select program. But there are a couple of downsides. You've got to observe this. If you click on this, you're enrolling for 90 days, and if you're enrolled for 90 days, you cannot be published digitally elsewhere on other platforms. So you have to be aware that if you do tick this box, and I would advise brand new authors, and when you first upload a publication to Kindle, that you actually do enroll, and then there are some benefits later of maybe unenrolling after that. So you enroll, you get the benefits, and then you may consider unenrolling, which is easy to do. All you do is revisit this page again and unenroll, and after 90 days is up, you can then look at some other options. Some people stay enrolled full time. There are options both ways and benefits in both ways as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, coming down to number 1, so I'd recommend ticking that box straight off out of the gate. You want to have your title of the book here, book name, and that can include your subtitle. I'll put a colon here, and then after that colon is the subtitle. Where is it? Yep, there. And in fact, there is a certain amount of information that's going to go on this form that it would be quite useful to have prepared already. And what I do is just prepare a Word document a bit like this, whereby I've got the title, the author, the introduction, some keywords that you would expect buyers to actually key into the Amazon search program to find your type of book, and categories that you might want the book to be enrolled under. So it's useful just putting as much information as you can on a separate Word document before you start, and you'll get the hang of it once we go through, but it saves you then having to cast around looking for individual bits of information when you're uploading. Okay, so book name, book title. Is this book part of a series? If it's part of a series, fine. Even if it's not, I think I add that it is going to be part of a series, and it's volume 1, and I think you get a certain amount of extra Amazon juice, marketing juice for that. They like there to be more than one book, but it's not important. If it's a one-off book, leave that out and just don't click that at all. I don't enter anything for this edition number, and I don't enter anything for publisher because I'm not a recognized publisher, so I leave these 2 boxes alone. The description. Now, you can write a separate description. It's important that you have a very good description, a detailed description, a compelling description, because this, after all, is going to be the first set of words that the potential buyer is going to see. So when we talk about description, we are talking about we're talking about the product description, which goes here. Now mine's not very long, it's a very short children's ebook, so I've kept it short and simple, but hopefully effective, just to get them to want to read more. But you're given quite a few words to use within the product description. Use them all, use them wisely. And this really is an important area because, as I say, after the image, the product image and the product title, which they're looking at, the description is the next thing that people look at. And so some people tend to skimp on that because they've gone right the way through the book and they're just in a hurry to upload it. Do not skimp on that, because this could make the difference between sales or no sales, or even, a mediocre book or a bestseller. So we'll come back to other elements of the sales page a little bit later. Okay, going back to the submission form. So literally, if you've got it in a separate Word document, you cut and paste it into this box here. Alright, there's 3,643 characters left. So if I was doing a slightly more adult book, I'd use every character of those that are left. Book contributors. You do want to get involved with this, so you click on this Add Contributors, and you're given the option of first name, surname, and then a drop down box here of author, editor, illustrator, and you want to put the author's name, and it could either be your name or a pen name, and if you've got an illustrator as well, you may also want to add an illustrator when it says add another. Okay, I leave the language as English. Obviously you have the option depending on the language of the publication. I always leave the publication date alone, and literally the publication date will be the day that it's uploaded. ISBN, I leave that alone. We don't need to have an ISBN to publish on Kindle. They will give it their own, effectively their own Kindle version of an ISBN, but you want to look at that when you're getting involved into a hard copy book, a physical book. But for this digital book, it's not necessary to do anything about this. Verifying your publishing rights. This is important. A public domain work or not a public domain work. If the work is in the public domain, that means that the work can be found and used by people which has the copyright for which has expired. Okay. There are many works which are in the public domain. There's Shakespeare, and many of the old classics are in the public domain. You'll find a lot of new versions of books keep being republished, which are old classics, because they are out of copyright. But if it's in the public domain, then you not only can you publish it, but other people can publish it as well. And what Kindle and Amazon really are keen on for this particular their platform is to have unique content. So they're not saying no to public domain work. What they are saying no to is which content, such as PLR, private label rights, anything to do with private label rights, which you buy the rights to copy and use other people's work as well do other people. Steer clear of anything to do with PLR when it comes to uploading for Kindle and Amazon. And when it comes to public domain works, you've still got to be very careful. You can use public domain works, but you've got to make it different. You've got to make it unique. So that's another whole issue altogether. This whole course has been about you creating work, you creating unique work. So you will click this box here, which is this is not a public domain work and I hold the necessary publishing rights. This is another whole ball game, and you've got to be very careful if you are going to get involved in public domain publishing. But whatever you do, steer clear of PLR, private label rights, for this particular program, for this particular publishing platform. Okay, I'm going to finish this video and carry on in the next one where we'll finish the publishing program, publishing upload process.